Never tire of greatness. Scottie Scheffler, after carding 13 consecutive pars here on Saturday, sprints to the finish line, birdieing 4 of the last 5, including the 18th. Scheffler now sits 1 shot clear of Ben Griffin heading into Sunday play at the Memorial. Rick Gehman offers the first thought here. Rick, no one's got to switch like Scottie, and man, can he flip it. Does what he did at the PGA more or less here, sprinting to the finish line on Saturday, plays the last 5 and 4 under. How does he go about his business in employing patience and then all the greatness he does have?
I don't know, Joe. I have no idea. I have no idea how he's been doing this for 3 years now. But I do want to point out a couple of things here. You'll notice he did it again today, and he does it all the time. He never finishes his rounds on a negative note. Every single one of his rounds, he finishes with a birdie, a great par save. Maybe he'll birdie 2 of his last 3. Whatever it is, he leaves that golf course with a good taste in his mouth. It's this unbelievable, uncanny ability that he has. When you look at this round here on Saturday, I mean, the first time he's ever been bogey-free around Muirfield Village. He's now the only guy in the field who's been under par in all 3 days. He just stacks up so many opportunities, and when things go sideways, he doesn't panic, right? That's the thing that we see other guys do. They try to get back into position immediately after getting out of position. They try to hit a hero shot after hitting a bad shot. Scottie never does any of that. He takes his medicine. He takes the proper number. Him and Teddy Scott have got every situation completely committed to, and it's proving out to just be this relentless style of golf that is better than anybody else in the world by a significant margin.
And good luck when he stands alone at the top of a leaderboard through 54, 8 of his last 8. As you take a look at that leaderboard, where we find Scheffler 1 shot clear of the man of the moment in Ben Griffin, who saw a little bit of everything here on Saturday. From when we take you into the Super Tower, where our friend Trevor Immelman joins us. Trevor, got to go Scottie Scheffler here off the top. This featured some of the best play we've seen, and we've seen it in spurts. Once again, the left miss and the putter beleaguered for what felt like an extended stretch, and then sprints to the finish, much like he did at the PGA. What did you make of the ebbs and flows of Scottie Saturday?
Yeah, look, those left misses just for a little while on the front side for the most part, and that was when the trouble was on the right. So I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack with that, but the way he played that second 9 was just perfection. Conditions were so tricky at Muirfield Village today. Winds were gusting up to 20 miles an hour. Scoring average was right at 74, which is a couple over par. And the way he played those final 5 holes in 4 under, really kind of reminiscent of the CJ Cup and the PGA Championship, where on that Saturday afternoon late, he really did take control of the tournament.
We also saw momentum working in both directions for Ben Griffin on Saturday. Touch 10, gives a whole bunch back, then makes another run on the way home, then gives one back. How did you observe the greater forces of golf working both for and against Griffin on this day?
Yeah, I thought he hung in there quite well. Obviously, the short miss on 18 is a little bit of an unforced error, not a very good stroke at all there. Absolutely pulled that putt. But, you know, this is the type of golf course Muirfield Village is. It's on a nice edge, and you got to be careful. Those first 8 holes, he really had things going his way with 3 birdies in a row, 6, 7, 8, and then started to struggle a little bit, pulled it back nicely at 14 and 15. Look, he's playing with a ton of confidence, and even though he's going up against the undisputed best player in the world tomorrow, he's going to feel good about himself. I mean, he's had 2 wins in the last 5 starts, and I think it's going to be a fun little tussle tomorrow. We're going to see a little less wind, so I think a few more birdies in round 4.
There is a swagger, there is a belief there in Ben Griffin, but being opposite of Matty Schmidt and being opposite of Scottie Scheffler, 2 completely different tasks. We'll see if he can complete this one, Trevor. When looking eye to eye with Scottie, you certainly have a better shot than being 1 back, as we outlined 8 in a row when holding a solo 54-hole lead. What did that short miss mean as our grand scheme plays out on Sunday in your eyes?
Well, it just makes the job that much harder. And the thing with Scheffler, he's like the ocean, Moose. He just keeps coming at you. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He places the ball and picks his spots to perfection. Reminds me a little bit of our host this week, Jack Nicklaus. And so he's not going to give you too much. So you're going to have to go out there and earn it. Look, I'm not saying it's impossible. Like we just touched on, Griffin has a ton of confidence. But in order for him to have that famous handshake on the 18th green with the GOAT tomorrow. Griffin is going to have to play one of the best rounds of his life.
The tide comes, the tide retreats, and the time goes on. We'll see if it's Scottie's time once again on Sunday. Trevor Immelman, always appreciative of your time.
Thank you.
You know where to be Sunday. An exciting finish coming your way from Jack's Place. The Memorial final round action beginning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus at 2:30 Eastern. Our coverage continues here on CBS Sports HQ. After a quick timeout, we'll explore all angles of what Sunday has in store. Not since Tiger have we seen a title defense at Jack's Place, and following a torrid sprint over his final 5, Scottie Scheffler well positioned to do just that. A birdie at the last, circles at 4 of the final 5 after carding 13 consecutive pars, and just like that, Scheffler 1 shot clear, and with the inside track to get another victory. It's the man of the era versus the man of the moment, Sunday on CBS. Shane Bacon and Rick Gehman here to explore further. And Shane, I'm going to come to you first here because it's something we've seen from Scottie before, most recently at the PGA, the way he finishes on a Saturday. What impressed you more, the ability to make those 13 pars or the way that he does finish with all the circles?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if we go for a run and we just kind of cruise the first couple of miles, then we really want to gas the last 2. I mean, Scottie's ability to just find, a speed that nobody else can find to close out these rounds. I mean, you mentioned the PGA Championship, the CJ Cup. If you remember his first win of the season, he's a couple under for the day on Saturday playing fine golf, and then he birdies 14, 15, and 18. All of a sudden, he shoots 66. PGA Championship, you mentioned, he was playing fine there, and then he goes on that obviously incredible run late with the eagle at 14, birdies 15, birdies 17, birdies 18, and all of a sudden he's in charge of that major championship. And then today, I was looking it up, and his last 6 wins, Scottie's third round scoring average is 66.17. It just feels like in the third round, he finds a gear and he is able to close out these rounds unlike anybody else in modern golf right now. And it's so cool to see because you're just waiting for it. All right, he made another par, no big deal. He'll make a couple of putts late, and that's what he did today.
Yeah, we get 45 holes into these events, and we're like, oh, okay, Scottie's in the mix. And then we get 54 holes into them, and we're like, oh, wow, okay, Scottie's in the lead, and he's going to win by 3 shots or 5 shots, however many shots it's going to be. And I think it's really easy. I mean, Scottie's the most patient golfer that we have on the PGA Tour, and I think it's even easier to be patient when par is a good score, right? That's where Scottie thrives. These very difficult golf courses like Augusta National, like Muirfield Village, where you get to post 13 pars in a row, and you're basically picking up strokes on your peers on every single one of those pars. So, and then if you rattle off a couple of birdies late, you've now just completely flipped the script going into the final round, and now you're sitting atop the leaderboard all by yourself. He just has a gear, as Shane mentioned, that so few guys can even get to, and he seems to get to it, once or twice every single week.
Next closest will be Ben Griffin, who held the lead for much of the day, and that's something you could say of all days over these last 2 weeks. Griffin coming off the win, trying to do it again, but Matty Schmid, Scottie Scheffler, 2 different beasts to tackle. That's what he'll have to do on Sunday. And Rick, he cost himself a stroke here late in the round, misses a short one at the final hole of the day. Numerically, what did that 1 shot mean when trying to tackle the beast that is Scheffler on Sunday?
Quite honestly, Joe, probably not much, because Scottie is probably going to make up that shot one way or another. But no, I mean, listen, you're going to need everything you can get to try to fend off Scottie Scheffler on Sunday, and to start that round all square as opposed to 1 behind is a big deal. I think this run that Ben Griffin has been on has been spectacular. It's been exciting. I'm thrilled for him. There have been a couple of moments where I think he's probably looked up at the leaderboard and said, wow, I'm gonna get my red, white, and blue threads, or I'm gonna change my life here, and things can go sideways very quickly. He does not have the ability to get things back on track as quickly as Scottie Scheffler, and that's no knock against Ben Griffin. I mean, nobody in the world can get things back on track as fast as Scottie Scheffler can. So it'll be interesting. I love that these two are gonna battle it out on Sunday, because they have really secured a lot of the oxygen from us and a lot of the headlines over the course of the last month or so.
Yeah, and I think to Rick's point, I mean, you're getting an opportunity to see the best golfers of the last, 5-6 weeks go at it on a really tough golf course. I mean, the advantage obviously is in Scotty's hands, as tough as the golf course is playing right now. But to get pushed by somebody that's playing this elite level of golf, that's what we look for in golf tournaments. That's what I feel like we missed the last couple of years. And it seems like we've got it a lot this year. I mean, you think about Augusta National, we get Rory and Bryson in that final pairing. You know, you kind of got a lot of big names with Jon Rahm kind of pushing Scottie Scheffler at the PGA, and then all of a sudden we've got this guy that nobody knew anything about in Ben Griffin. All of a sudden he's been one of the best players in the world, getting an opportunity. And I mean, tomorrow is a real opportunity for him to go head-to-head with a player that obviously is playing an elite level of golf unlike anything else in the sport right now. And if Ben Griffin does win this thing tomorrow, which again is unlikely considering it's Scottie Scheffler, talk about a boost of confidence that takes you into a U.S. Open, takes you into an Open Championship, and takes you into a Ryder Cup, thinking to yourself, I can do this. Honestly, it reminds me a little bit of Scottie Scheffler in that Sunday singles at the Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits, where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can beat the best golfer on the planet, you know, head-to-head at the biggest event in golf. Maybe I am as good as people say I am.
Yeah, slight work there for Scottie in that moment. I don't know what sort of work it's going to take here for Ben Griffin, but Scheffler does par those first 13 holes, turns it on coming down the stretch. Griffin, meantime, has been T2 or better, sleeping on 7 consecutive rounds here. It could have been the lead once again for a 6th consecutive round, but he's still right at the top of those leaderboards and comfortable being there, or at least he projects as much. When we get back to Scottie here, guys, it's hard not to zoom out for a second because it feels like just a couple days ago, us three are sitting here talking about a guy who hadn't won yet. If he gets it done on Sunday, it's 3 of 4, including a major. The trajectory right now, Shane, it's got to have us feeling good about not just the U.S. Open and beyond, but the space between him and next closest in the world.
Yeah, I was looking this up. You know, we're obviously focusing a lot on Scottie Scheffler, but Jordan Spieth, you know, his last win came in 2022, around the same time Scottie got his first win. You know, and you to think about the trajectory of those two players, Jordan has kind of gone through, obviously, some injuries and some struggles with the golf game, and he seems to be close to back, or as close to back as he's going to get at this point in his career. But you think about Scottie Scheffler, and you think about what he's been able to do, and it seems like every event he's in the conversation. He doesn't win every event, but he's definitely right there. And the consistency to me is the most impressive part. I mean, Data Golf has him at 66% winning percentage tomorrow. You know, I mean, who else is going to get something like that? Really, I mean, you know the name we all want to say, and the comp has been there, and the comp continues to be there in this sport. But I just look at Scottie Scheffler, and I continue to say this. Doesn't matter the pitch, doesn't matter the ballpark, all of those things, it seems like he can show up and do his best. If it's a birdie fest, if it's a tough golf course, if the rough is up, if the fairways are tight, Scottie can play any song that's out there, and he plays it as well, if not better, than anybody else out there in the game.
All right, Rick, Shane said the name once, so I'll say it twice more and he'll appear. Jordan Spieth. Quite a roller coaster ride here. Looked like for moments we might get a Spieth Scheffler final pairing on Sunday, and it doesn't come to fruition, and Spieth does stumble down the stretch. But what do you make of the day and his ability to put himself at least in the conversation on a weekend at a tournament? Are we trending in the right direction for Jordan Spieth to be a factor once again and perhaps sneak his way onto a Ryder Cup team?
What a scorecard. You know, six pars, even par 72. You love that from Jordan. All jokes aside, I mean, that's nearly 2 shots better than the field average. And that's what Jordan Spieth's been doing all week long. You know, he's driven it very well. He's hit his second shots incredibly well. He still has a penchant for doing some silly things, and sometimes he gets away with them, and sometimes he doesn't. But you can't try to rein in Jordan Spieth. That's part of the experience. Yeah, Joe, I'm in on this. You know, the advanced metrics are as good as they've been over the course of the last couple of years. In totality, it's probably his best year since 2021 in terms of strokes gained, his best putting year since 2019. I mean, there are just still things that he can improve on, but to look at the last handful of years, like, he is by far playing the best golf that he has in a while right now, and that's really good golf, right? I mean, Jordan Spieth was the #1 player in the world. He's probably unlikely he ever gets back to that point, but this is really good stuff. I'm quite bullish on Jordan.
Joe, I just think about 2025 in terms of golf fans, excitement level, right? You get Rory at the Masters, you've kind of got Bryson doing Bryson stuff. You get Scottie now starting to win again and win quickly, as you mentioned earlier. And you get Jordan Spieth playing solid golf. And it feels like we're inevitably approaching that Spieth victory. And maybe it's going to be tomorrow if he goes out and avoids the bogeys and hits a lot of those level golf shots. Or maybe it's in a few weeks at a different golf course that fits his game a little bit better. But the fact that Spieth has been, and it's crazy to say, this consistent in 2025 is a good sign. It's a good sign for Jordan Spieth. It's a good sign for golf fans. It's a good sign for the American Ryder Cup team that needs a presence like Jordan Spieth on the squad. I mean, we've talked a lot about the top 6 versus the bottom 6, but Spieth has played pretty good golf for this season, not just for a week or not just for a month, but for 2025. And if he can continue to play this way, he's going to pick up a victory. I really believe that.
It was a nice finish at the CJ. Scottie wins by $1 million there. That was the start prior to his second major of the season. So it goes CJ week off, win at the PGA. It could be Memorial week off, win at the U.S. Open. Not to get out in front of ourselves here, but we do have to make it official and put a pick to it. Rick Gehman, that's where you come in. Should we all say it at once? Anything different than Scottie?
No, it's Scottie Scheffler here. And Joe, I think you said it right at the start of this segment. You said not since Tiger. And that should be the the title of this era, because Scottie's doing things that we have not seen since Tiger, and we're going to continue it because this isn't stopping anytime soon. He's gonna win this. He's gonna roll into Oakmont. It's going to be special stuff. Enjoy it. It's a great moment we're in.
Rick, I know the No Lane Up boys have been kind of beating this drum for the last few weeks, but we're waiting for kind of the odds makers to do a Scottie versus the field bet with you can place before the week starts. And I feel like if he does get it done tomorrow, which I think he will, that's going to start to pop up on some people's apps and feeds. I mean, it is so inevitable. And I mean, I think the point that is being made here is every week's a top 10, every week's a top 25. And it feels like now every week's a top 5 and potentially a victory for Scottie Scheffler. I hope he does it tomorrow. I just think greatness is fun to watch, and I think being able to kind of soak in Scottie Scheffler, the greatness that is, this young guy that I didn't think we all saw this great when he started to win in 2022. It has been really fun to watch because it feels so simple, and we all know golf is anything but simple, even for the top 10 players in the world on the PGA Tour.
Special to watch. We get to watch it once again Sunday on CBS. Gentlemen, appreciative always of your time. What a time we have here on CBS Sports HQ and our family of podcasts. It's the Early Wedge, Rick Gehman and friends, taking you under the ropes and into the action. Recaps and much more on the Early Wedge. Download and follow right now.